Hi, so my hair is pretty wet, so ignore that. But I'm going to be doing my first injection solo, so completely by myself. I have a band-aid, which you don't necessarily need it, but I just use one. And then I have my little bottle here of testosterone. And I have my syringe. This syringe comes with a needle tip on top. Not all of them will. Sometimes you will get two needle tips that are packaged like this. So this is a 3 milliliter syringe. You could use like almost any of them, but I think they typically give out 1 to 3 milliliters. No matter what syringe you have, you're always going to be taking the same measurement. So I'm taking 100 milligrams every 2 weeks, and it's kind of hard to see, but you will want to pull it to the halfway mark right there. You always want to open it from the back, obviously. You only want to grab this part. You don't want to grab anything along here because that is supposed to remain sterile, except for the cap. You can touch the cap as much as you like. But here you can see the halfway part. That is where I'm going to be injecting. You can put the syringe down. That's completely fine. You just need to have the cap on it. You can't have the needle touching any surface. That has to remain sterile. Typically, your bottles of testosterone or whatever you're injecting, it will come with a white cap that you just pop off. It's not a screw, you just pop it right off. That's to protect it from dust. So there's 2 doses in this. I'm not supposed to reuse this bottle. I'm going to because I don't like wasting product. I mean, even the nurse, she was like, "You're not supposed to, but if you do, just don't tell me." So I'm like, "Of course, you got that, bro. I'm not gonna tell you." Also, you want to start with clean hands. I just took a shower. My hair's wet. I obviously washed my hands. And you take the bottle. The only part you really have to sanitize is the top. You want to rub it in a circular motion. And also, I would also like to clarify that I have wiped down this entire surface. This is actually like an antique school desk that I'm sitting in right now, but I've wiped down. This is dry. It doesn't have to be dry after wiping it with the alcohol, but you will risk having alcohol on your needle, which will then stain when you're injecting. And that's another reason why you want to wait for your wipe when you're wiping the injection site. You want that to be dry also. So I'm going to take my needle. I could take the cap off, but you want to remember this. You just pull it off. It's fine. You want to remember you don't want to touch anything up here. Don't want to lay the needle down anywhere. You don't want to touching any surface, clean or not, with the needle exposed. And yeah, it is right at that halfway mark, which would be 100 milligrams inside through the rubber top. And also, I'm using the thicker needle, so it'll be easier to draw up the medication. I think I have drawn up the amount that I need. It might not be perfectly at the line, but that's also because there are air bubbles. So yeah, it's not at the line. You want to flick your needle, just like in movies. I turn it on its side, there's no bubble there. You want to pull in some air because there is still some medication inside the needle. You only want to touch the bottom. So just like that. But don't have the plunger up against anything. You don't want to lose any medication. I just screw that off and then you just screw this one on. And I have my injection needle. This needle is a lot smaller. So I'm not going to be putting something so big into my body. And this does mean that the injection will go in slower. Cuteness overload. There we go. I feel like an influencer right now. But then you want to go back to the same old deal of flicking and kind of removing any bubbles. It's still much easier than the big needle. I can see that there's no bubbles as I rotate it. Recap it. It's nice and safe to set down. I inject subcutaneously, so that means that it's in the fat, and there are multiple places you could do this. I think you could do it in the flank. You could do it in your stomach. I've heard of people doing it in the back of their arm. As long as you can pinch an inch of fat, you can inject there. But I prefer to do my stomach. So I'm going to not take my pants off. I'm going to lower my waistband. And they suggest that you sit for this. You don't risk falling and fainting. You can just get easier access to the fat there. But I need to decide where I would like to inject. So I was told to do it a finger away from your belly button. So however far a finger can reach, you can inject. And right about here last time. So I'm going to do it about here this time. I'm just going to aim for the star, honestly. I don't care. Slowly go outwards. I'm going to keep the pen cap on, and I'm actually just going to mark where I would like to inject. I'm just going to press that really firmly into my skin, kind of twist a little. And there you see, I don't know if you can, but it left a small imprint up. I'm going to uncap the needle. If I flash anyone, I'm sorry, I'll edit it out, obviously. Get my good inch well pinched. So the whole way in, slowly pushing the plunger in. But I don't feel this at all. It's just slightly uncomfortable. Okay, and then I want to hold my needle in for at least 10 seconds. I can pull that out slowly and then slap a band-aid on there. You can see blood, but I don't see any medication. The medication will look kind of yellow. So I slapped down there, and I'm just going to rub the area gently to try and work the medication around. I'll call that a day. Recap the needle. I set it down without recapping it because I'm obviously not going to be using this anymore. So I took off the pen cap. Again, it's just screwing. And then I have my sharps box here. This is an actual sharps box. And you just kind of throw it in there. You can throw the whole syringe in, but there is nothing sharp on this, so this can actually go into the plain trash can. And then also I just have this other one in there. And then I just kind of close that up and I call it a day.